The former Prime Minister supports a recent campaign for a people's vote on the final Brexit deal, which he claimed would not be a rerun of the last referendum. The fervent Remainer told Bloomberg. People say the government is in favour of Brexit, and the opposition is in favour of Brexit, so how can it not happen? What we have learned since the referendum in 2016 is that this negotiation is much, much tougher than people thought. Essentially, there is a central dilemma that is yet to be resolved about our future trading relationship with Europe. Either the government goes with an arrangement that stays close to Europe, in which case we will be abiding by a lot of European rules, or alternatively we will have a clean break and go our own way, in which case the economic dislocation is going to be significant. Once the government resolves this dilemma, they then have to put a vote to Parliament. In that vote, because the government lost its election in June and governs as a minority government, I think they are going to find it very tough to get a proposition through the House of Commons. Frankly, the simple thing is to say it should go back to the people for the final decision. Bloomberg Jet Brexit News. Tony Blair reminded Leave voters that it is not too late to stop Brexit. The simple thing is to say it should go back to the people for the final decision. Tony Blair, this would not be a rerun of the last referendum. It would be a different vote. Do you want this deal or do you want to stay? Part of the trouble is the government itself is fundamentally divided as to whether it wants close to Europe or clean break from Europe. The government's plans for Brexit were dealt further blows as peers inflicted more defeats on Monday night, potentially giving Parliament a far greater say in the process. Liam Fox, International Trade Secretary, said, I think there is quite a big debate now about whether the unelected House can actually thwart the view of the British electorate in a referendum, and what's been happening in terms of the legislation coming from the House of Commons. When told that Theresa May was a horribly weakened Prime Minister, the Cabinet Minister replied, We don't have a parliamentary majority, that's for sure. That makes life harder. Asked if he would consider quitting if the government made major compromises in its exit strategy, he replied, We don't answer questions with such suppositions. He added, Getting no answer, you can draw your own inferences. Shadow Brexit Secretary Sir Keir Starmer urged the Prime Minister to accept the cross-party amendment, warning that there was no majority in Parliament for a no-deal Brexit. He said, If Parliament votes down the Article 50 deal, then Parliament must decide what happens next. Under no circumstances can the Prime Minister be given a blank cheque to crash the UK out of the EU without a deal.